On this day in gaming,
Rockman, or as we know him, Mega Man, returned to the family computer before landing on the NES a year later. Yes, I know you all are eagerly eyeing those presents under your tree, and incidentally, the Blue Bomber made his debut on another day in December, the 17th of 1987. Why then are we looking at this day in gaming over the franchise's debut? Well, my dear holiday-hungry carpal tunnel aficionados, because Mega Man 2 would prove to be substantially more influential to the fate of this mega series. Keiji Inafune's cartoon character, not unlike Shigeru Miyamoto's Mario or Zelda, was the product of an artist leaning on his childhood for inspiration. Exploring dark caves as a kid became Link's 8-bit legend, and animated television would directly affect Inafune's designs of a developing project at Capcom. The hero's name, after much deliberation, was Rockman, rock referring to the role in rhythm variety, a battle-tested boy with a blaster for an arm and the color blue for his blush. Also, like one of Miyamoto's creations, Mega Man's appearance was based on the technical limitations of the Nintendo Entertainment System. While the game featured a number of innovative features and was a fair success for Capcom, an established arcade company that was trying to break into the home console market, it wasn't by any means a massive hit. Enter Mega Man 2 1 year later. Pick a level, any level. This was the first choice offered to you in the game, which, like its predecessor, was one of the first to have non-linear story progression. There were 8 stages and robotic bosses to beat, and they could be tackled in any order, but the order in which you played through the game actually had consequence. The tools you'd acquire from each boss would help to beat other bosses, and so strategy also played a big part in how to reach the Einstein effigy of Dr. Wily. Before the open worlds of Grand Theft Auto and the Elder Scrolls, where multiple missions can be approached in any order at the gamer's discretion, this was a major advance for gaming at a time when the medium was pretty much confined to straight-down-the-line platformers. Notable gameplay amendments would become traits of the series, including the number of bosses you had to defeat, the exclusion of the original scoring system, the inclusion of a password system, and a more forgiving difficulty, because let's face it, Mega Man is just one of the hardest games ever. Music also played a huge part of the game. Its soundtrack is still hailed today as one of the greatest gaming scores ever. Catchy synthesized tunes driving the gameplay. Rockman, after all, was always meant to be a music-involved experience, and Mega Man 2 filled the fills, as it were. It may not have been the first in the franchise, but few would disagree that the sequel to Mega Man was more imperative to the evolution of what would become a flagship brand for Capcom than the original Mega Man itself. It established the company as a competitor in home console development. It laid down all the conventions of the Mega Man original series, which would continue for 4 further sequels, before branching into the X series on the Super Nintendo and later PlayStation, into other 5th generation games like Mega Man Legends or Mega Man 64, and even onto the handheld with the Battle Network series. One of these conventions clearly would be a reliance on a long line of sequels. Selling short of 2 million copies, Mega Man 2 still remains regarded as not only one of the most classic games in the series, but one of the greatest video games of all time. It was the turnaround for Capcom, the one that got the arcade force a foothold on the battlefields of the console market, and the game that allowed us to forget that middle-aged, pistol-wielding, wardrobe-malfunctioned reject, forever popularizing the Blue Bomber as the boy with a blaster. December 24th, 1988, this eve in gaming.